When Jerry Garcia was a teenager, his mom moved his family 80 miles north of San Francisco to a small town named Cazadero. Bored with school, Jerry had all but checked out from the recycled history and science lessons the teachers were putting out, and instead focused his time and attention on learning how to play the guitar. He cut classes on the regular, finding his own adventures outside of the school, like the time he stole the family car and took it out for a joyride. His unknowing mother had reported the theft, and Jerry was promptly arrested. Now the judge gave Jerry two options: jail or the military. And like many other delinquents of his generation, Jerry enlisted with Uncle Sam and joined the army. Now that didn't mean Jerry had to leave music behind though. Flexing his anti-authoritarian attitude, Jerry smuggled in his guitar, which ultimately pissed off the brass at Monterey's Fort Ord where he was stationed. But Jerry's stint as a soldier didn't last for long though. Absolutely not. Especially not with his commanding officer describing him as unreliable, immature, and irresponsible. In fact, he disliked Garcia so much that he determined that Garcia should, quote, be eliminated from service without delay. And in 1961, that commander got his wish when Private Garcia was officially dismissed from all military service. Free of jobs and responsibility, Jerry Garcia was now a free man. And with nowhere else to go, he packed up his belongings and his little guitar and headed down the San Francisco Peninsula to a sleepy little college town named Palo Alto. Here, Jerry met up with some old friends and made some new ones in the process. Specifically a crucial part of the Grateful Dead history, a young man named Robert Hunter. Now, Robert Hunter would go on to become Jerry Garcia's longtime writing partner and Grateful Dead lyricist. Some of his songs include Direwolf, Dark Star, St. Stephen's, Ripple, and China Cat Sunflower. As for sure, Robert Hunter was a true wordsmith, the real deal. But he and Garcia didn't start out as famous, of course. They had humble beginnings. Very humble, in fact. Hunter and Garcia were both fresh out of the military and had nowhere else to live, so they lived out of the back of their cars. One of their favorite parking spots to park, where they eventually came to live, was right behind me across the street at 2100 Santa Cruz Ave in Menlo Park. This was the former location of the notorious party house, the Chateau. It was a lively place, to say the least. Though not a five-star hotel, it wasn't the condition of the building that made it special, but the people. It was home to an assortment of transients, convicts, riffraff, and all who hosted these crazy, insane parties. Parties where Jerry and Robert got to showcase their musical talents. Now, word of these crazy parties stretched far and wide across the Bay and attracted the likes of future Grateful Dead members Ron Pigpen McKernan and Phil Lesh. They really liked what Jerry Garcia was laying down on his 12-string, and they kept coming back to these parties here at the Chateau. Now, it's important to point out that it was around this time that Jerry really started to develop as a musician. Folk music was all the rage during the early 60s, and Jerry wanted to get in on that finger-picking action. So he swapped his little electric guitar out for an acoustic, and for the next 2 years, that's all he played. But even though Hunter and Garcia had fun amusing their friends at playing these hippy-dippy folk songs at coffee houses and parties at the Chateau, Jerry still felt unfulfilled. Because at 20 years old, Jerry could already feel the fragile, comforting world that he lived in start to crack. Something was starting to happen here in the Bay Area. A new energy was starting to form, and Jerry wanted to be a part of it, whatever that meant. Because deep down, Jerry knew that both he and his instrument could go further. He didn't know exactly where or how, he just knew that he had to go further.